How's it going, everyone? It's Vivi and welcome back to some Spyro. So the full panel from San Diego's Comic-Con is now up on Spyro's official channel. It's about an hour long, it's a great panel. If you watch the whole thing, I gotta say, Stuart Copeland he looks like a funny guy. Now thanks to this full panel, we got some HD footage of stuff I did talk about in my previous videos. Here's a nice better quality scene of Nestor and Artisans.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the Artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
Now in the old leaked footage, with the camera, the level looked less warm, I think? I'm not saying I dislike how it looks now, no. Artisans right now, it looks fantastic. Have I ever brought this up? The gem thief right there, they did change his model. Now this is pretty much old news, but I'm just saying. I'm not sure if I brought it up. Right behind Nestor, you can see the Norks arguing, it looks like it, talking in the back. That's a nice little cool idle animation, I'd say. Here's a better look at Glimmer, the power-up gate. They brought that magical effect people were talking about in the Idle Springs gameplay, because the power gate in that gameplay, it was completely plain, no effects whatsoever. One might argue and say, well, I'm pretty sure they thought of it, but in that Idle Springs gameplay they just didn't add it in. They were thinking about it. I mean, who knows? Or it could be the following case, they're listening to feedback, something we're all certain of now. Another thing, right next to that gate, there's that orb icon on top of the gem cutter, or NPC. It seems like the game is similar to how Crash Insane Trilogy had hints while loading. So for the Reignited Trilogy, it seems like they're adding those hints. Oh, there's a quest you gotta complete right there. Now some of you veterans, let's go with that word, you might think, I don't need it, can we disable it or something? I don't know about that. I mean, Crash had the hints pop up, right? We couldn't disable those. So I don't think we could be able to disable these hints. And by the way, we did get a short glimpse of the menu, the pause menu, and we don't see any disable hints or stuff like that. We only got the maps and the ability to toggle music. I mean, hey, if they do decide to add that option to disable the hints, this pause menu could still be early footage. There's always that. Now, this Comic-Con panel, they went over, a bunch of interesting things, music, gameplay, how it was all created from the ground up. Everything they showed is pretty much everything I did talk about, but in better quality. Here's Skelos Badlands, the main menu of Spyro 2. It looks magnificent, it looks so cool. Something Stuart Copeland says at the end of the panel. I'll just play the scene, and tell me what you think.
And it turns out that there's one more page that I never scored, which is with this new game. You open up the game, you gotta go take a left to go to the year 1 or take a right to go to year 2. So there's an entirely old piece of music. It's a new piece of music, but it's all those riffs. As many of those themes as I could crammed into this gigantic orchestral piece that is the introduction to the new game.
Does this have to do with the door in Artisans? Some sort of playable menu, maybe? I could be completely overthinking. That was probably Copeland's way of saying, hey, you can just toggle left and right, to choose which game you want to play. But Geoff, the host, let's go with that, he said, he talked about the music, while Copeland brought up that he was making new music for the main menu. Afterwards, Geoff says the new music will be in the menu. So we don't know if Geoff just confirmed that the menu will be similar to, a basic menu we got in Insane Trilogy. Or maybe that could have been an assumption, something he still doesn't know about. But I could be overthinking, alright? The Spyroscope, Dry Canyon, Glimmer. About Glimmer, you can notice Moneybags, right? It's very blurry, we can't really tell him by the bridge. But today, Spyro on Twitter posted this. Doesn't he look as annoying as ever? He looks more smug, as people have pointed out. He looks more punchable, from what I've been reading in the comments. The eyebrows, I think, have to do with it. The resemblance is there, that pear-shaped head. The bag, yes, it's in the wrong hands, but really, it's not a problem. The eyes, they went for black, it seems. I don't notice any green, but nonetheless, he looks good. Like this dude, I read somewhere, someone said, oh, he could look like a future sort of villain. Just looking at his face, his pose, the way he's standing. Oh, and he's wearing pants. Was he supposed to be wearing pants in the original? I can't tell. That could possibly be his fur color because it matches the color of his face. Comparing this model to the model we got from 2004, that feeling we had from the original, that feeling that we loved to hate this guy, it's there, and I absolutely love what Toys for Bob did. As for the Spyro website, okay, the official box art. This is it, this is what we're getting. It says 3 games, okay, obviously. Original 3 games remastered, looking at the bottom. Require content download. Okay, a lot of you will say in the comments, okay, what the heck? On the right side, games 2 and 3 require download via internet. If under 18, must have parent or guardian's permission to purchase. Game console system sold separately. Okay, this takes me back to when people used to joke about Spyro Reignited only having the first game, you know, cause we were waiting for footage of 2 and 3. Same thing goes for Xbox, by the way, if you're wondering about the content, internet content. But why though? Is this part of like some sort of development type of issue? Crash Insane Trilogy did have a day 1 patch, if you remember. It was about 120 megabytes. It was for some bug fixes. The games were already present on disk, they just had to install. So if, let's say, you're looking to play Spyro 2 as your first game and your internet is dead for, let's say, a week, oh boy, right? People have been discussing over on Twitter that Spyro Reignited took about 18 months, similar to how Crash was developed within 18 months. 18 months, I'm still surprised. Maybe it's a huge team, I don't know how they're working over at Toys for Bob. I know they are passionate, but maybe they hired a bunch of people, maybe overemployment or something like that. 18 months for 3 games comparing to Crash Bandicoot, obviously. Spyro was remade from scratch pretty much. They didn't have access to the original data. 18 months for like a more open style game like Spyro, it's pretty impressive. So I don't know if this has to do with it. Having internet connection to install 2 and 3. I don't know why the games won't be available day 1 on the disc already, I have no idea. But what would you say about it? Or maybe this could mean that Spyro 1 has gone gold. Gold, by the way, means a game is ready to be shipped. It's done, everything's complete, the game's ready to be played. Now of course, if you think about post-launch DLC and stuff like that, you know. I don't know if they're planning to finish 2 and 3 at the last minute, you know, polishing. Those 2 games could go gold at the last minute. I find this weird, to be honest. Like really, the only thing that comes to mind right now is 2 and 3 are probably gonna get, well, go gold, perhaps right before the release of the game. That's their planned date, but I could be mistaken. Next thing I wanted to say, you can find Spyro lanyards at GameStop in the US. From what I've been reading, Jordan Fringe, you've probably heard of this guy, he did get his. But here in Canada, I don't think they have it. Us here, we call it EB Games, so I'll have to check it out, I'm not too sure. As for France, they're getting a pre-order bonus, alright, and it's pretty sweet. A book consisting of 96 pages going over the history of Spyro, from its original game to Reignited to, I guess, some references to Skylanders, how it went through a bunch of changes. Crash Bandicoot in France had the same treatment. Same type of book, 96 pages. As for Game, a retailer in the UK, you're gonna receive a keychain with 3 cards with art on them. We got Hunter, we got Nasty Nork, and we got Dr. Shemp. We can't really see their models, well, Hunter and Dr. Shemp. If you zoom in, it's too pixely. I'm expecting either Toys for Bob and the Spyro account on Twitter to share like a nice HD render before the release. It could be this month, who knows. Last thing I wanted to point out, IGN had a recent interview with Toys for Bob about Colossus. Let me read the small part. People are looking at Colossus recently and they're seeing, oh, these are these monks. And there's a hockey rink outside their temple. We've put hockey sticks around. We've made that whole arena in the back into a place where people have come to watch the hockey game in their airships and they're tied down. Okay, 2 things. People have come to watch the hockey game. That's one. That could explain why we didn't see that minigame section in that gameplay. It was done on purpose. They didn't want to reveal character models or something. And the airships, okay, the balloon Easter egg. That could be it. So the blimp you see could just have to do with the people who visited, you know, to watch the hockey game. Anywho, with that being said, guys, this is it for the video. I think I've said plenty, alright? So yeah, as usual, do your stuff. If you have any questions, thoughts, or anything like that, leave everything in the comments section below. And as always, I've been Vivi, and thank you so much for watching.